All right. Think we're good. Think we're good, guys. Let me just check the volume and we'll be right into our live. Let me just check the volume and we'll be right into our live. All right, so looks good, man. All right, looks good. All right, so, all righty, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Pokemart TCG. This is your host, the Gamesman, aka Mike Dabs. Back at it, guys, with another awesome video. What's going on, my dudes, my guys, my girls, my Pokemart family? All right, guys, welcome back to the semi-studio. Got my green screen behind me, the old investor hat. Did a nice clean shave this morning. Had to get some of that stubble out of there. Got to look clean and fresh. I am revived because I got my kickstart, guys. Yeah, I'm an old timer. Been in this hustle for 12 plus years. Still grinding it out, making it happen. And yeah, we got some topics of discussion, guys. This is just straight talk. Wanted to start a series here, starting with like straight talk, where we talk, we talk about stuff, man. We talk about stuff in the hobby. We talk about Pokemon. We talk about this and that. And in the description down below, I put in some topics of discussion for this session of straight talk with Pokemart TCG. These are going to be live videos that, I'm going to start posting some straight talk. And we're just going to talk real talk. I mean, it's going to be stuff that's on my mind, stuff we can just talk about. Open up the book. You know what I mean? But yeah, straight talk. So kind of, took a bite off the old straight talk cards that you get at Walmart's for straight talk on your phone. Figured to make a topic on videos here, doing a segment on my channel called Straight Talk, which is, we talk. And I'll put into, the description on topics that we touch base on. So I got my kickstart here, guys. If Mountain Dew, if you want to sponsor your boy, well, I like to get sponsors that stuff I believe in, stuff that works for me, stuff that makes sense. Kickstart, guys. I love Kickstart Orange. I've been buying this. I like it actually better than the Monsters. It's a little better. It's more like juice, 5% juice, and then caffeine and vitamins and all the other good stuff, supposedly, right? It's supposed to be in this. But I like Kickstarts. Find them in your local grocery, Walmart's, in the soda aisle. You can buy fruit punch, black cherry, pineapple, and I don't know what happened to the grape, but that used to be my favorite. Orange seems to be the best one that I like. But anyway, we're back here, guys, with another video, guys, and we got some topics of discussion. Pokevaut scam. I got scammed, me personally. The market is crazy. What are you doing, and what am I doing? So these are some, some 3 topics that I wanted to touch base with on today's segment. Mind you, my PlayStation 5 is going to go in sleep mode 4 hours, so I'm going to try to get through these as quickly as I can. And so, first of all, we'll start off with the Pokevaut, Shiny Vert, and PokeRev. Scammer Cody scammed these guys. Pokevaut lost $7,000. Shiny Vert lost like 2,000.4, and Rev lost about $3,000 or so from a guy Cody who lived in these homeless places throughout Minnesota, something like that, some state, where he's using credit cards and charging back. And this, guys, is an eye opener because, and it should be an eye opener for everyone that is doing this full time and accepting credit cards payments in your POVs, vendor POVs, in your storefront, if you have a storefront, LGS, or you have a secondary market. Because I know a lot of shops, a lot of places, guys, are starting up their own Pokemon business, if you want to say, where they're renting out space in malls, and this is in kiosk and in an actual space, actually square footage. They're renting out a location in a mall, and they're selling Pokemon cards on the secondary market along with One Piece and Lorcana and Dragon Ball Z. On the secondary market, and they're buying your cards. They're buying sealed product from you, and they're selling on the secondary market for higher than MSRP. All right. So if you're doing something like that, yeah, you can highly be susceptible for scamming, for people to come into your shop, your place of business. If you have a vending machine, and Pokemon has vending machines throughout the U.S., somebody can go in, use that credit card, charge it at these vending machines, charge it at your vendor POVs, right? And you're taking these payments, and then they're charging back saying that items weren't as advertised, or the items arrived damaged, or what have you, or the items were fake or whatever, and then reporting it to their credit card and getting a full refund. And guess what? You don't get the product, right? So this is a big thing. And then you got people with Shopify websites like PokeRev. I think pokevaut has a Shopify as well. That's where he's selling his stuff on there. I know a store that I dealt with in Danbury, Connecticut, Toy Box 203. When he was Toy Box 203, he's now Nexus in the Danbury Mall. I went and I traded a lot of sealed product to him, sealed packs and stuff to him. He has a vending machine now in the Toy Box 203, which is a new location. But this old location, Toy Box 203, let me just stay focused to the mainframe of what I'm talking about, is someone came into his shop and used a credit card and then did a chargeback on Stellar Crown ETB after they purchased it. So this would happen at Toy Box 203 in Danbury, Connecticut. He just got the vending machine, started stocking it with product that he was buying on a secondary market and putting it in his shop to sell at a higher than MSRP, making some profits off of what he paid for it versus what he's charging in the vending machine to clear profits after credit card fees and all that. There's an upcharge because he's on a secondary market. He's not a licensed distributor, LGS, that gets the Pokemon product from distributor. He's buying your sealed products, all right, on an open market that he's letting people come into the store. He's advertising on Instagram and everything that he's buying, right? And then he's stocking a vending machine in his store, and someone came in and he's got scammed there. So this is a big thing, especially with Shopify. And now, with taking credit cards and stuff, easily to get scammed, man, easily to get scammed. So, I'm thinking about doing a Shopify website. So this is an eye-opener for me, all right? I have a lot of sealed product in storage. I have receipts for everything, guys. Check PokeTuber Jedi Hustler, my Instagram. I'm just telling you what it is. Poke, P-O-K-E, Jedi, PokeTuber, P-O-K-E, Tuber, T-U-B-E-R, Jedi, J-E-D-I, Hustler, A-H-U-S-T-L-E-R. All right? Check that out. Receipts for what I do on this, for YouTube, for Instagram, Facebook. Check down at PokeTuber Jedi Hustler, Instagram. My receipts are backed. So everything I talk about, everything I say I'm doing, I can back it up. Receipts are on reels for trades that I do. So I can back up everything that I talk about, everything that I do is there. And then you can also check out Toy Box 203, now called Nexus, and they'll tell you the same thing. His vending machine, what he does, buys on the secondary market. That's your cards, your roll cards and everything. You can talk to the owner over there, and he can tell you exactly, because he dealt with me. All right? And about the scam that happened on his vending machine. So, I'm thinking about doing a Shopify website And I'm not happy that this is happening, that people are getting scammed, and it's being more widely spread. But it's an eye opener for me and for you, because Pokemon is getting big, guys. It's getting big, and Pokemon is literally like printing dollar bills. All right, literally like printing dollar bills on these cards. These cards are becoming more fantastic arts. They're coming out with superior sets. Like we got the Mega Evolutions coming out. It's getting pumped. People are hyped for this set. And it just opens the doors for more things to happen, for the hobby to go crazy and hysteria to take place, and for more scams to happen. And your eyes should be widely open, because we had Pokemon themselves got scammed. They got all their cards stolen from them, and somebody tried to sell them on the open market. But then I don't think the company was very transparent as to what happened to all those cards that you got. You said you got them all back from that card shop. Well, what happened? And then they said, well, the pull rates weren't affected. And I want to touch base on that too. With Pokemon, the company being a scam themselves, saying, hey, well, all those millions of dollars of all those affected pulls, those would have been, mind you, I say affected pulls, because those cards would have been pulls that you would have got in your packs. And how they say it wasn't affected, in reality, it's true. It's true it wouldn't have been affected. But your pull rate for that particular card would have. But your pull rate for pulling an ultra rare would not, because Pokemon prints up a bunch of different ultra rares. They go in those hoppers, and Pacific cards are situated in those hoppers. So yeah, they could, you would have got the Evolving Skies Moonbryon, right? Remember, stacks of them got potentially sold to the card shop that reported a guy who was selling them to him, all those ultra rares. I mean, this stands in the back of my mind. Generally pull rates wouldn't have been affected, because Pokemon could have just put all their ultra rares in that slot. And yeah, your pull rates absolutely would not have been affected, but your pulls for that chase card, the Moonbryon and the other chase cards that were shown on that video that went worldwide, everybody saw all those cards on that table that guy at the card shop was buying from all stacks of Rainbow Rares and all that good stuff from Chillin' Rain, Evolving Skies, Fusion Strike, and you name those other sets, where those big pulls where guy came in with stacks of them, Rattle Pokemon did a big few on them. Yeah, so your pull rates wouldn't have generally been affected, because Pokemon could have just put another ultra rare in that slot. Yeah, generally it wouldn't have been affected. But your cards for that particular card would have been affected. The amount of those cards that would have been in those packs where that would have went, those cards that were stolen would have went to, you could have pulled those cards, but you're going to instead not pull the Rainbow Rare. You're going to pull a regular ultra rare, non-Rainbow Rare. You know what I mean? You're going to pull a regular V or EX or whatever. This is what I mean. So being transparent, they were transparent on that end. Your pull rate's not going to be affected, but how truthful is that when you're missing the cards that originally should have been in those packs, where you're substituting them with a regular ultra rare or a regular V or EX, see? And this is where the transparency on where, we're being scammed out of those pulls. So Pokemon themselves are running a scam, and then they're not coming forth telling you what they did with those cards. Did they go back into rotation? Did they throw them into packs? Probably not. Mind you guys, the first print run, it's been proven, the first print run of any set that comes out has the best pull rates out of any reprint or anything that comes back out. Mind you, Hidden Fates, the best print run, the best pull rates were in the first print wave. All the other print waves, it's been proven, when you open when you open up the tins, the pull rates are not the same. They're not the same. Guys, so buy your product. If you're going to want to have the best pull rates of pulling those big chase cards early, your best pull rates will happen in the first print run of any product. So as the product ages and gets towards older and older, but it stays in rotation and stays in print. Mind you, Pokemon is diminishing the pull rate, all right, or subsidizing it with less superior cards. So your chance of pulling those Umbreon Vs are less likely, but you're more likely to pull lower cards value, okay? Lower card values, all right? And the pull rates are definitely going to be off where you usually get 2 hits per 10. You're going to get 1 hit per 10 or no hits per 10 on the second, third, and fourth print run, all right? Longer it's in print, the lower the pull rate's going to be, all right? And that's been proven. It's been proven. All right, so the Pokevault got scammed. Rev got PokeRev, our leader. I'm calling him our leader because he's over Leonhardt. Our leader, our American leader in subscriber base. He is our leader. Rev, Shiny Bird got scammed. And this is an eye-opener, guys. You know, seeing in succession how this plays out in the market, what happens to the scammer. And yes, this scammer is going down, okay? He is going down. Will everybody get restitution for their products they lost? Volt says that he's going to do what he's got to do, right? He's going to try to get everybody repayment for what they lost. How he's going to do it, I have no idea. You have to watch Pokevault's channel. Shout out to Pokevault. Man, I feel for you, dude. I thank you again for the raid on my channel. All right, not just for the subscriber base, but I watch your channel, man. I support you. And you know, I hate to see people getting scammed, but it's out there, guys. And it's an eye-opener for you guys that are thinking about this, how to protect yourself. You know, it's an eye-opener for me. What am I going to do to protect myself on Shopify? You know, my eyes are open, my eyes are peeled, guys, to seeing other channels that are doing full-time and stuff on this, seeing what's happening. And you know, I know my boy Alex over in Nostalgianomics, he got scammed in his ripping chips. You know, I'm not sure if he got ripped by Cody. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Cody got Alex on that $3 grand. Remember, Alex got ripped for $3 grand. Was it Cody? I have no idea. Alex didn't say anything about it, so I don't know. You know, but you guys can pick these guys' brains, like Pokevault. What are you doing? You know, well, I think Pokevault is mainly going after him with a lawyer and everything. So this guy is definitely going to be reprimanded, and yeah, he's going to be 8-balled. All right, 8-ball side pocket. He's going to jail, guys. All right, and this is over like $100,000 because he did it to multiple people. So you know, my eyes are peeled for me. As you know, I'm full time at my job, but I do Pokemon hustles. You know, it's a legit hustle. I don't do drug stuff. I do stuff. I don't have to look over my shoulder and look and see the cops coming to catch me for something, doing something fraudulent or whatever, right? So my eyes are focused on main thing. I'm doing things legitly, so I don't have to look over my back. But my eyes are open to other channels that are doing the same things or following suit with other people in the hobby, all right, that are doing business-like moves with Pokemon, Fortnite, Yu-Gi-Oh, whatever, right? Whatever. And, you know, Alex is doing his, Alex from Nostalgianomics, one of my good friends. I'm going to call him a friend because I have nothing bad to say about Alex. I follow in his footsteps. He's a great mentor for other people that are in the same mindset. And you have to be in the right mindset. Yes, we're going to be criticized for being Pokemon investors. We're going to be criticized for being a scalper or a reseller. And yeah, I take all the heat. I don't care because I don't care what those people think. It's what I think and what I believe in. And I'm going to stay on the path that I'm on because it's been a proven path for me because I've seen the light. All right. And I can speak for myself, document all the receipts. I can see my transgression, guys. All right, I can see my transgression in this hobby and what Pokemon's done for me, and how successful I've been doing Pokemon. And I'm not even doing it full time. I'm not even doing it to the extent of other people, right? I'm doing it for my extent, and however big I want to go with it, it's up to me. Because you know what? We live in a world, we live in a free country here in the United States, where if you can dream it, you can. If you can dream it, you can be it. And if you want to truly be debt free, yes, you can be debt free. I'm one of those members that can truly stand on that platform and this platform and say, I am debt free. I owe no one. I have no car notes, yet I still live under my means. Yeah, I can buy a brand new car. I can drive the fancy SUVs, right? But I live below it because I'm putting my Pokemon investments in front of me. I see it going further than what it's already done for me. I've seen profits. I've seen dollars, right? I made money, right? I made good money, all right, from older product that I had in XY Sun and Moon that I eliminated. When I say eliminated, means it's gone. So I turned in profits, but I'm still here. I'm still here in the hobby. And a lot of people have issues with people who turn profits in. And well, that's another story. But I'm full time at my job, and I've been in this hobby over 12 years. All right. So, you know, my eyes are open for scams, things like that. I'm very aware of what's going on in the hobby. I watch a lot of YouTube versus regular TV. I stay focused to channels that I'm not going to say piggyback off of somebody. I'm going to say cater to my desires and caters to what I do in this hobby. And it's not about money. Never about money because I'm debt free, guys. I've been debt free long before I even started YouTube. And like I said, my success didn't happen on YouTube. Probably won't happen with YouTube. Probably won't end on YouTube. My success happened elsewhere. And, you know, it's all started with a course that I took from an eBay power seller, Dave Espinino. It was a power seller course that changed my life, how to use OPM to start a business. And I talked about that on my channel. And I was using a credit card to empower your business, where you leverage out and build a business with a credit card when you don't have the money to do it. That's how I started out, guys. And like I said, my success didn't happen here. All right. And I just took my success and I learned from my mistakes, and I made my recourse of redirecting my life and my mind based on a credit card. I use it to empower a business, all right, and made it into a business, all right. And this is before YouTube, where it got me debt free, and I live a debt free life. I pay cash for everything, all right. Pay cash for everything, and I still live under my means. I'm not buying brand new sports cards. I'm investing in Pokemon sealed product, guys, because I seen the success. I seen the light. I can speak about the light. Like I said, I got the receipts in my Instagram. All right. I made a good amount of money this year. I eliminated a lot of my XY and Sun and Moon stuff. All my hidden fates are gone. All my XY evolutions, all that stuff is gone, guys. A lot of, why'd you sell Pokemart TCG? Why? No, I sold because the profits were good. All right. The profits were good. But like I said, we'll save that for another portion of this video. Yeah, scams, guys, they're out there. Make yourself aware, be aware of that. If you're deciding to do Pokemon or anything full-time thing, you're going to be accepting credit cards on a Shopify website. Just be very careful. I mean, hopefully you guys can lean more into like into pokevaut, and question him, and hopefully he has some kind of, some answers for you guys, like that if you do get scammed, like, how you can go about it, because nothing like this is on YouTube that's teaching you guys how to go about this if you get scammed. Because some of these guys that are scamming are putting you people like that have low subscriber base, but just getting started in this hobby, and they're trying to make it into a business, but then they start and everything's on fire, and all of a sudden they get shot in the foot by a guy like Cody, who scams them out of thousands of dollars, and then it literally bankrupts that guy's bankroll that he has, that he's rolling into the hobby. And then he gives people a bad taste in their mouth that are trying to do things in the hobby to go full time and make changes in their life. to live a debt-free life, to make life-changing decisions and moves and financial, gains and stuff, just like you would if you were doing a stock market. So, you got people like this that come in and self-destruct people, and then the creator loses their desire or loses their passion for that one aspect of their life, Pokemart or Fortnite or whatever they're getting into, and loses faith in it and walks away. And some of these guys even walk away, and they didn't even get restituted from any restitution from the guys that scammed them. And it's sad, that this kind of thing, like I said, Cody's going to be barred, man. He's going to get the rear end. All right, he's going to get rear-ended. The cops are coming in, and the collision's going to take place between him and the cops. Because it is going to come down. It's going to rain hail on his parade. All right. And my eyes are open to see what pokevaut what actually happens. I'm sitting here waiting for the rest of the story to unfold and what happens to Cody, and the story that Vault tells us on what happens in the final phase of what goes on with the scam between him, Vault, and Rev. Sad to see that. You have vendor POVs as well, people getting scammed. You got little kids even stealing cards from tables. It's just crazy. Crazy what's going on in hobby. So I want to bring to light one thing, stay tuned for Vault, Rev, Shiny Vault. I'm sure Rattle Pokemon is going to be touching base with all that stuff too. But yeah, in the same aspect, I want to touch base. I talked about this story with several people that were following me in my old house. I told the story, and it's a real life story. How I was selling on eBay these. If you guys all know Lance Armstrong, came out with a movement with the Livestrong branded bands, right? The Livestrongs had Livestrong on them, and I guess he made his journey with Nike to do the bands. Well, I started selling secondhand bands on eBay. All right, and I was selling when I was doing my eBay. I was selling both in U.S. and in overseas. Now, what I can tell you is probably like Rev, probably like Vault and Shiny Vert, and probably Nostalgianomics, Alex over there. Most scams, guys, will take place from overseas. It seems like this is the issue with accepting credit cards and getting scammed. And just like me, what happened to me on my eBay, I was selling the Nike Livestrong bands. Well, it wasn't a Nike brand. It was a brand that looked very similar to it. I was getting from a vendor when I was vending at a flea market. He was selling these bands very similar in quality and fonts and everything, the same texture. If you put the bands together, side by side, you really couldn't even tell the difference. The quality was just as if they were the same band. So I was able to sell them on eBay, and I was buying them for $2 a dozen. All right, and mind you, the stores, Modell's and the Dick's Sporting Goods, they were selling for astronomical price per band. They were, I think, $6 or $5.99 or something like that. You would buy one band from as a Nike branded band from Lance Armstrong. You're paying $5.99, $4.99 a band. Here, I was getting a dozen of them at a flea market from Nick for $2 for 12. I was getting them at wholesale, and Nick was my distributor. So I was buying the Armstrong bands, and let me see if I can bring up this thing over here, because this is a perfect example. I was filling them up in a clear, like Utz jar like this, I was filling them up like this, all right, and putting the bands. These are pretzels in here. Of course, I was putting those bands in here that I would get 12 in a package for $2. I would put literally like 3 or 4 of them in there, and then you get like 40 bands. It was 12 bands per package for $2 for me, for my distributor. And I was selling the whole jug for like $40. But then when it came down to shipping, I would leave the bands in the plastic cellophane, okay? I would leave them in the plastic cellophane, a little kind of like wrapper like this. But you can imagine 12 of them in there. It had a self-sticky thing on. I would leave them in that and ship them in bubble mailers, huge bubble mailers overseas. And if they order enough, I would box them. And they would all the bags would be 12 in a bag. I would count them all up. And if they order 400, I'd put enough bands in each box that equal 400. So I was getting huge orders from a guy in the United Kingdom, all right, overseas, UK. And the first order was like 900 and something. Then he ordered like a $1,400 order. But I think he ordered a $700. It was a $400, $700, $900, and then a $1,400. And this was back in my earlier part of eBay. I sold those to the guy, and he was paying. I had to fill out a big form. All right, there was a big form. It came with an LC1 number on it. That's your tracking number, versus like the little paper you would get from the post office that had like a little piece of square you would break off, and then the other tag that would go on the paper, on the sticky that would go on the box, and then you would keep the long sheet with the tracking numbers. Well, this was an LC number, and you had to put the customs information on there, what was inside the pack, what was inside that box. You had to go into detail what it was, so when it goes through customs, they know what it was. And then you had to mark it as the value. And so this particular order off my eBay, mind you, I was 100% seller, 100% sale ratio on eBay. Didn't have any bad reviews from anybody, all 100%. This guy ordered the bands from me, and it was a $1,400 order. So I boxed it all up, I shipped it out, and then I had this LC1 number. It was like a 11-digit number after the LC. So I had that number. And if you don't know what those numbers mean, guys, those are tracking numbers. But unlike traditional tracking numbers that the postal office gives you if you ship like a package to a friend in the United States, you can go on the www.uspc.com or www.usps.com, right? You can enter the United States tracking number in. I can go to the post office, come back, right, home, and give Ben F. Productions like the tracking number right away. And you can see that that package is in the postal facility, right? And then he can track it anywhere. All right. So, mind you, with U.S. tracking numbers, you can do that. But with internationals, right, this is where you get frauded a lot, right? It takes up to 30 days for them to see that tracking number that the item got received by the other party in United Kingdom. So what happens is, what transpires is usually you as a seller on eBay would ship out the product, right, to United Kingdom, just like Vault, Rev, and ShinyVert would ship out their products, right, the next day or 2 days later. These guys in international orders would get their product, just like me. I shipped out, right, those 2 boxes of 400 bands to the United Kingdom guy, right? And they can say, with a week later, do a chargeback and say, hey, items not as advertised, or I didn't get my items. And then what PayPal and eBay want to know is, can you give us tracking numbers to show that you shipped? All right? And once you give them numbers, you can give them the LC number. eBay can go on www.uspds.com, see that the item's been shipped, or see that you do have a tracking numbers. It can say in transit, or it'll say nothing. It'll just give them no information until it's been delivered. Usually it takes 30 days for you to see that the other party usually gets the item. So in cases like disputes on eBay, you can only show that you shipped an item with that tracking number for United Kingdom or overseas, but it will not show eBay or PayPal that it's been delivered. And that's when they can expedite the chargeback and say, hey, we didn't receive these items. I used my credit card on a week ago. I didn't get this item, or they can say they got it, but the items are not as received. They were damaged, or the box was ripped and items were missing. And if anything like that, the chargeback party, the one that's trying to scam you out of stuff, they can do that, escalate the case. eBay, PayPal will reside with them 100% of the time, guys. You will lose your money and you will lose your product, because it's happened to me. So that's what happened, I believe, with Vault and all them. They were overseas. Cody happens to be in Minnesota or something like that, so it's U.S. with them for Vault. But a lot of international scammers, people that want to scam on eBay, is usually overseas. They're buying from U.S. sellers and then scamming us out of our product. Now, how it happened for me, and then I'm going to go into what I did. So, with me, the guy contacted me and said, hey, Pokemart, I'm just going to say Pokemart. It wasn't under Pokemart on eBay, guys. So don't go look up eBay and say, oh, Pokemart TCG's on eBay. No, I'm not. All right. I was on my other account, all right, where I sold from. I had the bands up. The guy ordered, and this is how it went down. And this is how I told him to do it. And this is how it transpired. And I'm going to tell you what happened and then what did I do. So at least you guys can get a bird's eye view, and you can use things like I did to expedite things and maybe get things to change. But this is what happened. So the guy ordered the $1,400 in bands, guys. Okay, ordered $1,400 in bands. I shipped them. I got an LC number, 12-digit number. I can only show that, that number. I can only upload that to a dispute on eBay, those numbers. All right. It's not going to say that the person received them. It most likely won't even say that it may say that I shipped, but it won't show anything like that guy received them. So the guy emailed me back after about a week. The bands are in customs. He says in the text, he says, hey, got the bands. They're in customs, but I can't pay these duties. So the guys didn't want to pick up the bands because of the fees. Like when you ship internationally, they got to pay customs fee, duty fees on top of the, on top of what they paid on eBay from you. If you sold anything on eBay and you shipped internationally, they got to go to customs, pick it up, and they got to pay duties fees. Every person who orders, they got to pay duties on these things at customs. So he says these duties are, up there in price because I ordered, I'm always ordering from you. I'm getting them, but I have to pay these duties. I said, but dude, I mean, that was not in compliance with an agreement that I made with you that say, hey, when you get them in customs, tell me what the customs fees and I would pay half or 50% of your duties fees. We had no contract, no agreeable terms in which I said I would help you pay any duties fees. So I said, I'm not helping you pay any duties on this. I mean, you bought the bands from me before, you paid those duties, and now you're asking me to pay duties on stuff that you got to pay anyway when stuff is shipped, just like you bought from me those prior bands. And mind you, I was selling him other bands that I got larger sizes. He requested that can I get larger sizes? Because he's selling that his corner store in the United Kingdom. He has a storefront somewhere over there. So he was selling the bands, making profits on them, but then now doesn't want to pay duties on them and now forcing my hand. So this is what he said. He said, all right, dude, I understand. But if you don't want to pay these duties, I'm just going to decline the order and put in a chargeback for my money back from eBay. And I knew exactly what was going to happen, and because it happened before. And I didn't get any restitution. I just went ahead and I took the loss. Oh man, this guy's going to catch me out there for $1,400 in bands that he ordered, and I'm not going to get these bands back. Every time this happened to me on eBay when I sold, I never got my items back. Items that went in it was always overseas. I never got my stuff. The guys would do a chargeback, or they would say items not as advertised, and eBay doesn't even put in a request in for these guys to say, all right, before we give you your money back, you got to ship that stuff and show us proof that you're shipping this back to the seller that you bought these from. Never do they do anything like that. I never got any items back. They always just let the buyer escalate the case and go in the favor of the buyer, and the buyer gets the product. Gets to keep the product. Now they got their money, 100% refund, take it right out of my PayPal, right? And they get that money back, and the product is still in customs, and I didn't even get it back. So now he got his 100% money back. He'll go to customs now, pay those duties, get my bands, and I call eBay and say, hey, all right, you gave him his money, but I didn't get the bands. They said, well, we reserved the seller. It's between you guys to get that back. Or, like they didn't even want to help out in that aspect. So you don't have eBay's upper hand to even fight back to get the bands back or get whatever you sold back. They don't even go to that extent to help the seller on that platform to get their stuff back from the person who's got the charge back or saying the item's not as advertised. So I got rooked out of items before on eBay. So yes, technically I did get scammed, but this was a bigger scam where now I'm getting my hand forced to pay duties, right? So I got pissed off. So I called my lawyer up and I asked my lawyer, I said, dude, what can I do in this case? Telling him, pleading with my lawyer on a confidentiality call. He didn't even charge me. It was a confidential call. You can do confidential calls with a lawyer where they don't charge you based on the questions that were going hand. There was no charge for me, at least. So he says, well, dude, what you can do is file a case here in U.S., tell that seller, that buyer, that you were going to file a case here for international mail fraud. And see what he does. He says, matter of fact, why don't you call the Attorney General office and see what they say about it? So that was the extent of the call. The lawyer just said, file a case here in the United States for international mail fraud, and let the buyer know that that's what you're going to do, and contact the Attorney General, see what the Attorney General office has to say. So with that said, I took my lawyer's advice on that aspect. I called the Attorney General office in Albany, and the Attorney General office told me this. They said the exact same thing. File a case here in the United States, and then contact that buyer, tell them that's what you're doing, but also tell them that since it's international, he falls in a realm where now he can do time because it's international waters. Because of international transaction, he bought from me, who was overseas, who I ship products to him. So it's international fraud. So, and being that the extent of the price was $1,400, he can do jail time. So he said, tell them that you're going to file here in U.S. and you're willing to fly over. You're going to shut your eBay business down, everything down. And you're going to fly to his state to file charges in his state because in the PayPal, when he paid me, under the acts that I told him, I says, if you want to, he wanted to pay me, but he couldn't pay me on his PayPal. He said his friend was going to make the payment under a confirmed address, and I told him I was going to ship to his friend's address as long as his friend's address was confirmed. But make a note in it that his friend was paying for you and have your name in there. So I had now had his friend's name in there as an accomplice to this, right? Both international, right? So both the accomplice, his friend can be held as accomplice to the fraud and be charged, and the person who actually did the purchase, one of the band's purchase, can be filed under the same charges. So under the Attorney General Office authorization, they said this was going to happen to them, that you're willing to shut your business down and file for international mail fraud for him and his accomplice. So I said, all right, well, I'll put that in and I'll text him, because I had all the text messages back and forth between this. So I have all the proof, all the receipts for this case, right? This is a case billed. And I contacted him back, and this is how it worked out. I told him exactly what the lawyer told me and exactly what the Attorney General Office told me. He said, hey, I was willing to do it. I said, I am filing a case here in the United States for you and your accomplice, because I have all the emails, you trying to force my arm in this to pay your duties, and then what you were going to do if I didn't. I have it all in emails. I have all emails saved, and I'm willing to shut down my eBay business, fly to your country, and prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law over there. And dudes, he actually crapped his pants. He said, yo, I'm sorry. Yo, I didn't mean it for it to go like this, but the duties were high. I understand. I'll pay the duties. And this guy was want to be so forgiven. And he decided to close the case and pay the duties. And then after the fact that he contacted, dude, sorry about all the aggravation, but you got to understand where I'm coming from. I said, dude, had you contacted me about paying duties or coming to a agreement to pay duties or to maybe lower the price so it would lower the duties on you or something, there's so many ways we could have played this where it didn't have to go to this extent, that I'm not dealing with you anymore. And he wanted to do more deals, and I shot him in the foot because of the one deal that now turned toxic, that I didn't want to deal with him, so I stopped it altogether. But I was so grateful that I was able to talk to my lawyer and then talk to the Attorney General Office in Albany and get some recommendation on how I can handle the case. And that's how I handle it. And it worked in my favor that the guy closed the case and went and got the duties, paid his duties on it. And I didn't lose any money. But it was an eye-opener for me that I stopped selling products to people in international waters. And to this day, I'm still not shipping internationally. So this is, what I use. I mean, you guys can use it if you've been having some kind of issues like that with people on eBay, if you're doing worldwide shipping where you have got some chargebacks. And I realize that some people can be so small, you don't make a lot of money after eBay fees, you're a small-time seller, and then you just assume losses here and there. Is that okay? No, it's not okay. If you're here to make a profit, and and you're doing an eBay online business, and it's something that I did, you're trying to make profits, you're selling small items. Me, I was selling video games and all kinds of stuff. But for me, I started selling different stuff. I did retail arbitrage, selling amiibos and buying from retail stores, Walmart, Target, buying clearance, buying products that had low prices on them enough that they were marked down, hidden clearance or whatever. And I would take them and resell them back on eBay. I was doing all kinds of stuff on my eBay, but I was doing worldwide, where all my issues that ever occurred happened for an international. Now, there was another instance where I kind of got scammed. I'll go over that. And, you know, but there was no restitution on that. PayPal, eBay resided with the seller. So here's another real life story. It's a lot shorter, guys, because we've been on here. I don't want to be on here 4 hours and then my PlayStation goes and sleep. But I just want to talk about it because I think it's an eye opener for you guys that are selling on eBay, selling on other platforms. There are ways you can navigate it, and I just want to bring you eye openers to what I did and aware. All right, so awareness is the best thing is knowing, all right, what you can do. So another thing that I did was I was big on WWF wrestling. So at the time, the Big Show was getting ready to fight the Undertaker in a steel cage match. Okay, so I went out. This was the time when KB Toy and Hobbies. A lot of you guys may know KB from back in the late 80s, early 90s. KB Toy and Hobbies stores, been in malls, strip malls, stuff like that. Well, we had a KB's, and I went there and I found a ring and a steel cage, right, with a casket, because the Big Show was going to fight the Undertaker in a steel cage casket match. And I found this Undertaker steel cage and ring. It was new in the box, but the box had like wear and tear on it, where they taped a hole up, where the box had a hole, right? So they taped it up so stuff wouldn't fall out. And I bought that for it was on clearance, but I realized what it was going for on eBay if I sold it. But if I sold it with the Big Show for that big match that was coming up at WrestleMania with the Big Show and Undertaker in a steel cage in a casket match, I said people wanted that. So I said, oh, wow, this would be great to do an eBay auction with the steel cage with the Undertaker and the casket in there, and then get the Big Show figure. So I got the Big Show with the Andre the Giant uniform, that one-arm strap over that one-arm strap that the Big Show had when the Andre the Giant also wore, that black overall thing. So I got the Big Show carded figure on from I think Walmart, and picked that up for like $7.97 for the figure. I paid like $21 for that steel cage on clearance at KB's. I got that. I put it up on eBay. I think it sold for like $125. It was right before Christmas. So I got it. It sold on eBay. I packaged it up. It was box shipped. I boxed it all up, put the Big Show in there, sold it to a woman, right, that bought it. There was a lady buyer. She was buying it for her son as a Christmas present. So she got it, and her son opened it up, and the casket was not in it. All right? So she opened a dispute on eBay, said, hey, contacted me back, said, hey, I opened a dispute. My son opened up the item. It was a Christmas present. The casket was not in the box, and he was feeling down because he couldn't do the actual series because he was trying to do the same thing like for the WrestleMania, the Big Show versus Undertaker in a steel cage with the casket. So I felt bad. I said, all right, well, give me a few days. Let me see what I can work out, and I'll get back to you. So very much communicative. I was back and forth with her about this. And I'm saying, all right, I found a casket. I'm going to mail it. And I got a bunch of other extra stuff I'm going to send. So I found an eBay seller selling a casket, right? Selling a casket. Mind you, it wasn't the one that was identical on the box because that wasn't what she was complaining. She was complaining about it didn't have a casket. So I said, okay, well, I'll just get a casket because she didn't say her son wanted the exact casket. She said that her son didn't get the casket in the box. So I went on eBay, shopped around. I found a seller selling a casket, right? And he had all these ring accessories like a bell, a horse's shoe, a good luck shoe. So I had all these cowbells and stuff like that, and poles and bamboo sticks, all these other accessories for the ring, like, that her son can have an exciting time making and building his own WrestleMania with a big show in a steel cage because it came with all these other accessories. Mind you, it was used, but it came with all of the accessories. So I said, hey, I got the casket, and I'm going to send you all this extra stuff. And I sent her, I boxed it up, gave her the tracking number. She said, oh, great, my son's going to be excited. So I shipped it out, gave her new tracking numbers for that item. About 3-4 days later, she contacts me back. Her son's still upset. She said, oh, we got the package, and we got the casket and all that, but the item inside was not the exact casket that was in the box. And this lady did not tell me that she wanted the exact casket in the box. She said her son was upset that there was no casket in the box. She did not say that her son wanted the exact casket or nothing like that. So I found an auction, shipped out a casket, and gave her all these extra ring accessories. So I'm going out of my way to satisfy a customer on eBay, but yet still I'm wronged. I'm bad. I'm a bad guy. So now the lady says, I'm gonna ship it back. I'm gonna escalate the case, get my money back. And I said, look, I will accept a full refund as long as everything is as I sold it. In the box, items were not ripped and torn, and everything is like new. All right, that I can sell it back. And she said, okay, no problem. I'm gonna send it back and put it in for. So this is the thing. She escalated the case on eBay, told him exactly she was going to send the item back. I got the item back. The box came. I shipped in a flat box, guys. The box was like that flat and about maybe 2 feet, 2.5 feet long. It's a flat box. This is how it came, like in like a Marshano soup, like that. In a box like about that high, but 2.5 feet long. So I shipped like that, in a box like that. I got a box that's like 2.5 feet big. It was just a square box. I was like, how did she get everything was in an oblong box, shipped to in an oblong box. How did she get everything like this in a box? I said, this is not going to be a good turnout. She's not getting a full refund for this. So I already knew what to expect when I got that box. So I opened the box. Guess what? The first thing I saw was the Big Show was not carded anymore. Well, it was carded, but the card has been torn apart. She ripped the Big Show from the plastic bubble, and then she put the Big Show back inside and taped the cardboard that was all ripped and missing pieces back to the bubble. The ring was put together. Her son had put stickers on, put the ring together, put the stickers all over the ring, and the box to the ring and everything was inside. When I bought it from KB's, that was her packaging material. She ripped the box, tore it up, and the ring and everything was sitting on top of that. So when I lifted the ring up, the whole box was torn. I said, I flipped out. I said, oh no, hell to the no on this. There's no way you're getting a full refund. So I contacted eBay, told them, and they said, as long as you got the item back, she's getting the money back. I was like, well, this is not as she got it. She got it brand new in the box. I got it in pieces and out of the box. eBay, PayPal, did not care, guys. Did not care. All for the buyer, crap for the seller. Gave her the money back, and I got an item that I would have to sell as used, not as new. I would nowhere, shape, or form get $125 for this because now it's all used. So this is, like I said, so again, I got scammed, because you got to know eBay's buyer and seller protection. If you don't know it, you shouldn't be selling on eBay because you can definitely be getting yourself set up to be losing money. And this is what's happening to newer people on eBay, and why people are leaving eBay selling platform, because these reasons people are losing money, and the percentages are 13.5% now, or something like that. Where when I was used to sell, it was only like 7% or 6%. So the fees gone up astronomically to sell on eBay, and you can be scammed on eBay for sure from people that know how to use it. There's people that know how to use these systems, know how to use these chargebacks, and to get money from you and an item. So be very, very careful. This is just my experience. May not be your experience. You got to be well known and well schooled on the buyer seller platform and the policy, so you don't get burnt. But you can easily get burnt on eBay. I don't sell on the platform anymore. I haven't in years. But those are my two past experiences that happened years ago on eBay. I don't sell on eBay anymore. I haven't sold in years. I am a big seller on Facebook Marketplace. I've been doing a lot of wheels and deals on Facebook Marketplace. I accept PayPal, friends and family, and Cash App as payment terms. People meet me more than likely right at my house. They come right to my house. They text me when they're here, and I do deals. All right. So that is, as far as the scams, yes. So